Okay, so here's a strange one. On July 1st of this year, Florida's state-run insurer, Citizens, actually cut its rates. Multi-peril policies dropped about 8.8%, wind-only policies dropped 5.5%. That's the first real rate cut in years, and on paper, it sounds like the Florida insurance crisis is finally easing up. And yet, condo owners across the state are still getting hit with assessment bills in the tens of thousands of dollars. Some are getting bills over $100,000 for a single unit. So what's going on? If insurance is actually getting cheaper, why are condos still becoming impossible to sell? Here's the short version. This was never really an insurance problem. Insurance was just the trigger. The real problem is that thousands of condo buildings in Florida and a very similar story in Honolulu spent decades not saving up enough money to maintain themselves. And now 2 different laws in 2 different states are forcing all of that deferred maintenance to get paid for all at once. Let's walk through exactly how this happened, starting with Florida.
To understand this, you have to go back to June 2021, when the Champlain Towers South condo in Surfside collapsed and killed 98 people. That disaster is the reason almost everything happening in Florida right now exists. After Surfside, Florida passed a law that sounds boring but changed everything. Condo buildings 3 stories or taller now have to go through what's called a milestone inspection once they hit 30 years old, or 25 years old if they're near the coast. If that inspection finds substantial structural deterioration, the building has to fix it immediately, not eventually, not whenever the owners vote to approve it. The board can no longer just decide to skip the repair and hope for the best. On top of that, associations now have to do something called a structural integrity reserve study, and once that study says how much money the building needs to have saved up for its roof, its plumbing, its concrete, its structure, the association is legally required to actually collect that money from owners. No more underfunding the reserve account to keep monthly fees low. That loophole closed for good on January 1st of this year. So think about what that actually means if you own a unit in an older building. For years, maybe decades, your HOA fee was kept artificially low because the board wasn't saving enough for the big stuff, the roof, the pipes, the parking garage. Now, the law says they have to catch up on all of that all at once. And that catch-up bill doesn't go to the building, it goes straight to you, the owner, as a special assessment. And the numbers back this up. Assessments tied to these milestone inspections have run anywhere from $10,000 to well over $100,000 per unit in older coastal buildings, especially ones where years of salt air have eaten into the concrete. On top of that, flood insurance premiums through FEMA's updated rating system are still climbing 15 to 18% every single year. The average Florida homeowner's insurance premium is now around $8,458 a year, which is roughly 3 times the national average, even with this year's rate cuts. Now, here's the part that turns this from expensive into unsellable. Under rules from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, if too many owners in a building fall behind on their assessments, usually once it crosses around 15% of owners, the entire building can lose its eligibility for normal mortgage financing. Every single unit, not just the one that's behind on payments. Think about what that does to you as a seller. Even if your unit is in perfect shape, even if you personally paid off your assessment in full, your buyer might not be able to get a normal loan to buy it from you. Your buyer pool shrinks down to cash buyers and specialty lenders only. And when the only people who can buy your condo are cash buyers, they know they have the leverage, and they're going to lowball you. That's exactly what's showing up in the data right now. In Miami, homes overall are sitting for a median of 113 days before they sell, up from 100 days a year ago. But condos are the real problem child in that number. Redfin currently scores Miami as one of the more buyer-friendly markets in the country, and agents specifically point to HOA fee pressure as the reason motivated sellers are flooding the market with listings. Meanwhile, Miami-Dade County actually lost close to 80,000 residents between 2020 and 2022, partly because the cost of living there now runs about 21% above the national average, and condo carrying costs are a big piece of that. The state is trying to soften the blow. Miami-Dade is reopening a special assessment loan program this year that gives qualifying owners up to $50,000 at a 40-year term just to cover these mandatory bills. There's also a newer law requiring buildings with 25 units or more to post their budgets and reserve studies online, so buyers stop getting blindsided by assessments they never saw coming during a home inspection. But none of that fixes the core issue. The law that was written to stop another Surfside is also, as a side effect, making a big chunk of Florida's older condo inventory really hard to finance and really hard to sell. That trade-off was probably worth it for safety. It's just brutal if you happen to own one of these units right now. Hawaii's crisis didn't start with a building collapsing. It started with insurance companies simply deciding Hawaii wasn't worth the risk anymore. Starting around 2024, private insurers began pulling out of Hawaii's condo market, especially for high-rise buildings. Some associations saw their premiums double or triple within a couple of years. Others just got dropped outright, with the board given weeks to find literally any company willing to write them a policy at any price. In July of last year, Governor Josh Green signed a law called Act 296. What it does, in plain terms, is bring back a dormant state insurance fund from the 1990s called the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund and let it start writing hurricane policies again for condo buildings that get turned down by at least 2 private insurers. It also expanded a second state entity, the Hawaii Property Insurance Association, to cover other kinds of damage beyond just hurricanes. And here's the part that's actually good news. It's working, at least on the insurance side. By the end of last year, state officials were reporting premium drops of 30 to 70% in buildings that switched to the new state-backed coverage because the extra competition forced private insurers to lower their prices to keep those buildings as customers. One building in Moiliili, the Hale Kulanuni condominium, saw its annual hurricane premium drop from $103,633 down to $37,475, just from that competition kicking in. So if insurance is actually getting cheaper in Hawaii too, why are condos still struggling to sell? Because just like Florida, insurance was never the whole problem. It's what the insurance crisis exposed. A lot of these buildings only got hit with sky-high premiums in the first place because insurers looked at their deferred maintenance and their thin reserve funds and decided the risk was too high. Cheaper insurance doesn't erase years of underfunded reserves or an aging fire sprinkler system. Those bills are still coming due, usually in the form of a special assessment, and insurers are increasingly making renewal contingent on those repairs actually happening. A typical fire sprinkler retrofit in an older Honolulu high-rise now runs $20,000 to $30,000 per unit once you add engineering, permitting, and repairs. Now look at what's actually happening in the sales data, because it tells a really specific story. According to the Honolulu Board of Realtors' most recent report, released just last week, single-family homes on Oahu hit a record median price of $1,242,500 in June, up more than 10% from a year earlier. That's the biggest single-family jump in 4 years. Condos are a completely different world. As of this spring, single-family inventory on Oahu sat at under 3 months of supply. Condo inventory was sitting at 6.5 months. That gap is enormous, and it tells you buyers are competing hard for houses, while condo listings just pile up waiting for someone to bite. Condo prices are still technically rising a little, up around 4% year over year as of June, but they're doing it slowly, and it's taking longer to find a buyer, especially the further you get from Honolulu's core neighborhoods. And if you want to see where this goes if it keeps getting worse, look at Maui. Maui condo prices were down close to 18% year over year back in March, and by April they were down 32% year over year, even as the number of sales actually ticked up slightly. That tells you buyers are still showing up, they're just only willing to buy at a much lower price, because they know exactly what kind of insurance and assessment risk they might be inheriting. So here's where both of these stories actually meet in the middle. In Florida, a law meant to prevent another tragedy is forcing buildings to fund years of neglected maintenance in one giant bill.
In Hawaii, an insurance market that walked away is exposing that exact same neglected maintenance from a different angle. The trigger was different. The result is the same. Buildings that didn't save enough money for years are now presenting their owners with a bill they can't avoid, and buyers are noticing. If you're shopping for a condo in either state right now, the reserve study and the assessment history matter more than the view. If you already own one of these units, you're not imagining it. This is a real, measurable shift, and it's showing up in the sales data in real time. And that's really the story here. It's not that the housing market broke overnight. It's that 30 years of skipped maintenance finally sent the bill, and it landed on whoever happened to own the unit when it arrived.